Welcome to Mysteries of the Superstition Mountains. Today's episode is about Salt River rescues by Deputy Bradshaw of Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
Well, thank you, Larry. Thanks for having me again. It's fun to be back here and filming some of these videos. Today, we kind of came up with the idea maybe we'd talk a little bit about my work with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office Mounted Unit and patrolling the lower Salt River, which is part of the Superstition Wilderness. Back behind me right here, you'll see one of my trusty steeds. This is Breeze. You might recognize him from prior videos. Breeze is a 17-year-old quarter horse that was donated to the Sheriff's Office about 5 years ago, and he is a mounted police horse. And several of these stories that I want to talk to you about today include him. So the idea for this video was I wanted to just show the usefulness of the horses in patrolling the lower Salt River. For many of you that aren't from Arizona and aren't familiar with, below the Superstition Mountains is the historical lower Salt River. What happens in the summertime is there's a recreational tubing activity, there's kayakers and paddle boarders, and we get thousands of people almost every weekend that come out and float down the river or kayak down the river. And so we have a large group of deputies, including myself, that work in our Lake Patrol Division that patrol that area. And we probably do about 50% enforcement and 50% rescue. And when I say rescue, we're basically it as far as people that have medical or problems or get into trouble on the river. We're there to help them, and the horses have become a huge asset in doing that. And so we'd like to kind of share some of these stories, and interlaced in some of these stories, we're going to show some actual footage from my body-worn camera that I wear while I'm patrolling on the horses on duty. And so just hope you enjoy it. The first story, I'm not going to know exactly all these dates, but it was this past summer. What happened was on part of the river there was a big storm upstream, and what that storm caused, because of some of the fires, the wildfires that we've had, it caused a whole lot of debris and sand and rocks to push out into the river, and it literally changed the course of the river. Now, this area of the river, for those that might be familiar, some of the kayakers and paddleboarders, they kind of named it the pinball area, so that might sound familiar to some people. But what happened is it narrowed the river significantly in this one area, and by narrowing the river, it made it way more, the current much faster, and then there was quite a few rapids in there, and it almost happened overnight. And so for a time, the Forest Service, along with our help, they shut that area down, but they were able to cut back. The Forest Service did a really good job cutting back some of the vegetation so you could get by there. But suffice it to say that the river was much more narrow and much more treacherous than it had been prior. And like I say, this literally happened overnight. So I decided, I'd go on the horses and go down there and just kind of check on things and see how things were going. We had several calls of people kind of getting into trouble in that rapid. So I rode down there one day, and I was riding Breeze here. I was patrolling by myself. And as I got down, there were quite a few people in that swift part of the river, and a lady had been on her paddleboard, and she had flipped over, and the paddleboard was stuck in the bushes, and she was actually stuck on the other side of the river. Now, the river wasn't very deep, but it's very swift, right? And so she had no way of getting back. So as you see if you might be able to see on the saddle there, I carry a lariat. Mostly that's just for looks and just because, and sometimes it's almost just something for me to hold on to. But so that day I jumped off, I took off my rope, I got down off the horse, and I was able to build a loop with that thing. And this kind of goes back to a little bit of my old cowboy days. My dad would have been proud of me because he was a big roper. And I was able to make a loop with that, and I threw it across the river, and I kind of threw it in front of her, and I feel like I made a pretty good shot right there, and got the rope in front of her, and she was able to get it. And I told her, put it around herself. So she put it around herself. I got back on the horse. I dallied my rope onto my horn and tried to have her start to walk across. And as she's walking across, I'm backing the horse up, like I had a steer or something on the end of the rope to keep the rope tight. And she was able to safely get across, and she got off onto the shore right there. And I went down and was like, "Are you okay? Are you all right?" And yeah, and she was ecstatic. She's just like, thank you for saving me, and thanks for being here. And that area, it's very hard to access. It's actually closed to motorized vehicles to the public. It's very hard. It can be very difficult to access with vehicles, and or a boat or anything else. So it was good that I happened to be there that day with Breeze on the horse, and was able to get her across there. And then some of the other paddleboarders guys were able to go over, get her paddleboard. We were able to get her back, with her paddleboard, and down where the river was smooth again, and she was able to go on. And a little bit later, her husband actually had pulled off to the side because they'd been paddleboarding together, and he came back and was like, "Where's my wife? Where's my wife?" And he's like, "Oh, we rescued her." And then I told him where she was going to be, and I actually then crossed the river with the horse, went down, and kind of made sure that they found each other farther downriver, and made sure that they were okay. But she was okay, and she was a super nice lady. I think she brought me like a box of chocolates or something later on over to our station, and she was just real appreciative. And so it was a cool story. And of course, there were a lot of tubers and kayakers, paddleboarders standing by when we did that, and they're just like, "Oh man, that's so cool, that you used the horse to rescue that lady." So we really love all the people that come out and recreate in the Lower Salt River and in the Superstition Wilderness, and we invite everyone to come out. We just want to encourage everyone, please be safe, bring plenty of water, plan ahead, know what you're getting into. Make sure that you're not, if you're not planning on being out there at night, you got plenty of daylight to accomplish your activities, and just come on out and have fun. We are out there to help and rescue you if you need it, but just encourage you to have fun and enjoy the outdoors.
Thank you for watching this episode of Mysteries of the Superstition Mountains.